Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel, Beautiful Rabbit Hole, King Dia, Lauren Frey, and the upcoming Mouth of the Dragon. So, recently, last month, I should say, Horizon Forbidden West came out. And although I didn't really say anything about it on stream or in a video or whatever, I actually had my eye on this title. Not because of my excitement for the game, because, of course, I had none. What I was actually interested in was seeing how well it did, how much people talked about it, because this is a game that supposedly sold 20 million units. This is a game that well-regarded game journalists like Jim Sterling declared better than The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild when they both came out in 2017. This is the game that a lot of people put a lot of effort and time into trying to push as the next big thing. It was honestly one of the biggest failures of the new 10s, because what happened was that you had this initial push to make Horizon a thing, like when it was unveiled and when it was first released, and then you had the reality of that nobody actually cares about Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Like there was a lot of hype around it. You had a lot of high critic scores. But that did not translate to audience enthusiasm or sales. It did not establish a legacy. It did not become something that people were looking forward to. By the time the DLC rolled around, Horizon was dead in the water. Like, Sony tries to tell people that this game has sold 10, 20 million units, but I really don't believe them, honestly. Like, what I think is happening is that they're giving away the game for free through, like, PlayStation subscriptions, and just using that to inflate their sales numbers, because like when you compare this to Breath of the Wild, when it comes to like actual audience retention and enthusiasm, like Breath of the Wild has been pretty consistently talked about for the past 5 years, right? Since it was first released, with its like people referring to it as like the definitive open world game and a new evolution for the genre and just an all around masterpiece. Whereas Horizon, when you get right down to it, other than like the setting and the fact that it had a female protagonist, which is, according to the developers, unusual, it had absolutely nothing going to it. And now that we know more about the world of Horizon, now that we know that it's like woke shit, I can't imagine that anyone was all that enthusiastic about the sequel. And I believe that that's what happened. Like the game just kind of came out and got slaughtered by all the Nintendo games that were coming out around the same time, by Legends Arceus, but also by Elden Ring. Horizon Zero Dawn was BTFO by a From Software game, and I will always like say that like From Software games are overrated. They aren't shit. They're not worth playing. They're not worth talking about. The fans are full of shit. But if it comes choosing between a From Software game and a fucking PlayStation exclusive, I'm going to go with the From Software game every time. I'm sorry. But at least From Software tries to make video games, you know? They actually try doing something different. They actually established their own unique niche, even if that's not a particularly well executed one, even if there are like better games with the same general concept, like Zelda. Like, I don't feel as if From Software has built its company on lies. You know what I mean? The way that like PlayStation has with its exclusive lineup. Like people actually like From Software games. So for the record, I'm glad that Elden Ring stomped the fuck out of Horizon Zero Dawn. Like Horizon Forbidden West. I'm glad that Legends Arceus stomped the fuck out of this piece of shit. This game could never have competed with Breath of the Wild. It's the developers aren't good enough. The game isn't good enough. There's nothing interesting, unique about it. It is one of the most generic things I've seen in recent memory that people have actually tried to sell me on. With Horizon coming out the way it is, it feels like so many of PlayStation's exclusive lineups are just going down the shitter, right? Like, Crash and Spyro are gone for good, forever. You have, with no hope of returning, you have, The Last of Us is dead, Naughty Dog is dead, Uncharted is dead, Final Fantasy is basically dead. Like, all these classic PlayStation IPs are just going downhill, and I think that realization is finally starting to hit the mainstream. I was talking about this a decade ago, but now it feels like people are really starting to understand that like Sony does not make good video games. None of their first party studios are worth a shit. None of them are worth putting time or giving attention to. Like, if you're getting a PlayStation in 2022, well, first of all, don't. Just get a Switch instead. But if you are, like, you're playing third-party games. You're looking forward to, like, the new Elden Ring, like, to the new From Software game. Like, why would you care about Horizon Forbidden West when you get right down to it, it's more of the same thing.